Chapter 2, Into the Unknown.
Massive trees blocked almost all light from the moon. An eerie silence enveloped Cereza. She cautiously ventured onwards.
Don't surprise me like that!
I'm sorry, Cereza. At least we get our first collectible, which comes in the form of onyx roses. Of course, a lovely nod to her signature sawn-off shotgun she gets in the normal series. But these are going to be used to increase Cereza's abilities, and over the course of the game, if you're doing your fair share of exploration and chest opening, you will have no problem filling out your skill tree because you're going to need a lot. They give you much more than you ever need. Well, yeah, falling probably not the greatest idea at this point.
Don't look down.
Fortunately, there is no fall damage, so that's good.
Come on, Cereza. 1 foot in front of the other.
A nice little close-up of those owls there. And a new plant variant.
A plant from Inferno. I wonder how it will respond to my magic.
In a pretty great way, actually. So, in building onto our Witch Pulse, these plants will actually get bigger so that you can access different areas, but you are going to have to go into a lengthier version of this minigame, so don't let go midway and you'll be great. Usually when you see this, it will be a little bit faster, but also you get some pretty nice rewards out of it, and combos.
My magic feels more powerful than before. Could it be the brace?
Most definitely. And over here, speaking of new types of collectibles, we have Avalon drops, which will increase the abilities of your partner, which we have not been introduced to just yet. And you won't find nearly as many of these out in the world as you will the onyx roses, but that's fine. Again, you don't need too many. If you see a line of them, typically it's going to lead you where you need to go. However, you are going to want to explore as much as possible. This is definitely a game that is going to tease you as far as places you can and can't go are concerned. And a lot of the times, you just have to just trust that you're going to have to come back to it later. It's kind of annoying, actually. It's more Metroidvania-y than, you know, Metroid is. But we'll go and drop down here, and you want to be a little careful because you can't jump back up when you get that prompt. So just be sure that's what you want to do. And oh god, these guys. I hate these guys. All right, well, we are now being introduced to the concept of vitality, which comes in the form of petals, and you'll be able to garner quite a few of these, but you really have no punishment for death. It just kind of fades to black and you reset at a very near checkpoint, so try not to get hurt, otherwise it's not going to be an issue. So we'll thorn bind it, and let's mosey on over here, grab some of this, and you'll be fine. It does kind of last a while, but eventually we'll get our sweet revenge. How dare you hurt that rabbit, or at least try to. Its range is pretty obnoxiously large too. So, over here across more vines. I feel like we do this a lot more in this beginning section than we do anywhere else in the game, but that's all right. This overhead camera, interesting. All right, down we go.
Looking into the dark underbrush, Cereza could not shake the feeling that someone was looking back. As the wind rustled the leaves, it sounded just like a rasping voice whispered in her ear.
I can't turn back now. I'm going to become a witch and save Mummy.
Lofty dreams, Cereza. Very high ambitions. Hold close to those because who knows how long it'll be before that happens, you know? But as we move closer, I can't help but feel something wrong is gonna happen. right, well, thank God for the advent of our old friend, the Fade to Black, which nullifies any fall damage we might have taken. Everything is a-okay, and it was even kind enough to lead us to a rogue arcane lantern, which we can indeed save at. So I think because we'll never be coming back here again, we might as well. Plus, we have the advent of costumes, which will not be unlocked until after you beat the game, and that's just something we'll get into a little bit later as to avoid some slight spoilers. Saving is pretty straightforward. We have an autosave slot, and you have 5 different places to save, but we won't spoil the completed 99% file, so at 6%, we are, a pretty good way through 13 chapters this game has to offer. Also, any bushes you see with pink petals, usually a good idea to, run into them, shake them out.
What was that? Must have been a rabbit or something. Right, Cheshire?
Well, you just want to keep on telling yourself that, Cereza. I don't think a rabbit would necessarily go through all those lengths to torture you, but who knows?
Is someone out there?
Yeah, I wouldn't be asking any questions I don't want to know the answer to. With this oddly foreboding music, as we proceed forward into the mist.
Cereza could not shake the feeling she was being watched.
Is someone there? Show yourself!
And then, as if to answer her call, these were fairies, nefarious creatures who ensnare the souls of humans who venture into the woods to feed on their vitality. This time there was nowhere to run. Cereza was backed into a corner.
Please, please work this time.
Fingers crossed, Cereza prepared to use the summoning spell she learnt from Morgana.
Batai Vatorzu!
Even after the summoning circle had faded away, no one had answered her call.
Why? I did everything right.
The fairies resumed their sinister mission. All at once, they jumped at Cereza, weapons poised to strike. She shut her eyes tight and prepared for the worst. A moment passed, and then another, but she felt not so much as a pinprick.
What? Who are you?
Chomp! That beast, as dark as a moonless night, had it all been a dream?
You don't think... Could that have been...
But before Cereza could finish her question...
Cheshire?
From its gaping maw, extending ear to ear, fell a drop of thick slobber.
Wait, did I manage to summon a demon that has now possessed Cheshire?
As if in reply, the beast growled and bared its blood-red fangs. Just as Cereza feared, a demon had indeed possessed her beloved stuffed cat. The creature had desperately sought a medium in order to survive in our world. In lieu of hair, it settled for one made of felt. Looking around, the demon's eyes found Cereza. It let out a low growl. After her initial terror, Cereza realized that she was able to understand what the demon was saying.
You want me to return you to Inferno? Now, how would one go about doing that?
Cereza had her hands full calling a demon to this world. She hadn't even begun to study the spell to send them back. Cereza once again heard the demon's words, this time even more clearly. Send me back! Send me back! The demon's rage increased by the second, but there was nothing Cereza could do. Out of patience, he pounced. Claws like daggers descended on Cereza. But what if we hear? The demon had stopped cold. As if bound by an invisible force, no matter how he struggled, he was unable to touch Cereza.
Calm down. You're going to burst the seam. Don't worry, I'll send you home. Once I figure out how. I'm on my way to get a fantastic power. With that, sending you back should be a piece of cake.
Giving up his attack, the demon turned his attention elsewhere. Intrigued but a little scared, Cereza decided to follow a bit behind.
And so it begins. With the right Joy-Con, we now control Cheshire, and with the left, we control Cereza, completely independently of each other. And it's a fun time for all.
The demon ran through the forest, searching for a way home.
Plus, he is the only one that can climb up these ledges here and destroy the roots that impede our progress. So keep that in mind as we bust on through and fight to the death. Our first bit of combat, the demon's sharp claws and fangs make short work of fairies. Scratch to show your infernal might.
I'm in no mood for pests. Get ready for a fistful of claw. The demon leapt towards the fairies.
Right, so combat is pretty simple, and eventually it gets a lot more engaging and involved with combos and things, but for right now, there's not really much we can do aside from slash. Don't take damage, and instead we'll have magic sort of determine our health force. So there we have it. Not too bad, right?
The demon slashed with his razor-sharp claws. But something felt off. His power seemed to escape him, slowly but surely.
What's wrong?
The demon bared his fangs. He was clearly suffering.
Are you sick? Or hungry, perhaps?
As Cereza approached, the demon felt the strength return to his body. In an instant, he felt right as rain. His body was linked to Cereza by powerful magic. Moving away from her robbed it of its energy.
What's that? I need to stay close to you? I've never heard of a spell like this before.
How do you plan on getting me back to Inferno? The demon demanded.
We first need to find a white wolf. He'll show us the way.
Leave it to me. I'll find him. said the demon as he clambered to his feet.
I'm Cereza. What's your name?
I have no name, replied the demon curtly.
You don't have a name? That must be terribly inconvenient. Though I must admit, I haven't the faintest idea about demonic manners. May I call you Cheshire? That's the name of the stuffed cat you decided to borrow after all. Well, I need to call you something. If you're going to make a fuss about it, why don't you just find a new body? Fine! I'll just call you whatever I please.
And so these strange companions set off in search of the White Wolf. What mysteries await in Avalon Forest?
Well, I suppose that means we are about to find out sooner or later, does it not, dear narrator? So, we move these characters independently of each other with both Joy-Cons, and you want to take proximity into consideration because if the characters are separated for too long, the game will kind of just fade to black and put you both in a safe spot together to reconvene. So, the control scheme is very similar to the game Brothers, if you guys were ever familiar with that one. Great little indie title. I highly recommend it. You should feel right at home with this control scheme if you're familiar with that.
The demon seemed to have calmed down. Remembering that he could not touch her, Cereza breathed a sigh of relief.
Yeah, I mean, I do not blame her in the slightest. But upon making the bridge extend, oh good God. Well, that, my friends, is something you never want to see. It is unfortunately the ailment known as rosemary.
The pungent scent tickled Cereza's nose. It was rosemary, often used to ward off evil spirits. As soon as the scent reached Cheshire, he pulled away, face scrunched up in disgust. It looked like demons could not stand being anywhere near the flower.
So, a demon with a severe aversion to rosemary. Yeah, it checks out. So this is basically the game's version of a tutorial kind of leading you on separate paths that you don't have to do at the same time. You can really just wait with one character while you move the other, but if you want to be fancy pants speedrunner, you're probably going to have to do some cross-wiring of the brains here because, yeah, you're doing a lot of crisscrossing on your own over here anyways. So, basically, yeah, it's pretty straightforward and it's not very hard to figure these puzzles out. There's very few rosemary sequences in the game, but it's just to more or less force the player into doing its own thing. Like, you know, dancing precariously close to this cliff edge, even though she just tumbled off one not too long ago. All right, reunited again, but this time, oh, this guy. I hate this guy.
This was quite a pickle, but Cereza knew how to get by without a scratch.
And that's exactly where the demon comes into play, although, there we go. For some reason, that save is usually pretty weird.
Cheshire! I've got it tied down! Finish it!
Right, so that is how you're going to take out a lot of enemies, pinning them down and then slicing them up. Over here we have...
Hey!
Oh, a spider's nest. It's interesting, this kind of foreshadows the end of the game a little bit because you don't see spiders at all until then. But let's go ahead and bust this open. You definitely want to witch pulse this because this gives you a generous amount of onyx roses. So anytime you see one of these, just go and just run straight into them with your full chest. There you go. Oh, it's so satisfying. It's so good. And as for you, I will destroy. There we go. Good riddance.
I'll go first to make a path. You wait here.
Yeah, that sounds like a swell plan there until... Oh boy. That is not good.
at once, Cheshire's body shrunk to its original cuddly form.
Cheshire!
Cereza ran to pick up Cheshire and held him tightly to her chest. In her arms, Cheshire felt his strength returning. "Release me at once!" Even in this form, the demon did not seem happy about being cuddled.
Just hold still, will you? While you're small, you can't walk on your own, right? I'll carry you until you can transform again. Not having a massive demon breathing down my neck will make it easier for me to calm down too.
While far from pleased about being treated like a stuffed animal, the demon had no choice but to swallow his pride.
I love it. So we can now explore together now that Cheshire is in his stuffed animal form, and it's a little bit easier because we can also extend him and collect things, sweep up the forest floor, and get a bunch of collectibles. So among one of my favorite things to do in the game.
Huh, even with you in there, Cheshire still weighs the same as before.
However, in case we need to unleash him, we have to switch modes. So press right and you can jump out and start attacking, and you can control him as usual. And if you want him to return, then you can enter hug mode. And this is what you would be using to heal his health when he gets it and things like that. So you definitely are going to have to play around a bit with that. So Cheshire Unleashed. There we have it. Yeah, so a lot of the time you are going to want to keep him in hug mode because he does help you run faster. There is an ability, or an upgrade rather, that allows you to do that. So it also lets you reach higher planes, as we're about to see here shortly. But for now, I want some of this good experience. Lovely. Yeah, so you're going to be seeing a lot of running around like this and, you know, disrupting bushes and whatnot. But anytime you see these plants here, you can use it to fling yourself to greater heights, and it's amazing. Now, go ahead and do a little bit of dance. Yeah, for the roses, I will do any dirty dance you ask. And we'll go this way because there is a hidden one over here. So, let's see, this one's a little slower. But the crescent, that is the one that you end on, it's always going to be facing the thing you're enchanting, so pretty easy to remember, but they do get substantially more difficult later on, and we'll get into that a bit later. Now, oh boy. It's this section, of course it is. All right, we have a ledge, and we have rosemary.
More rosemary. Cheshire, I'll toss you up there. See if there's a way forward.
All right. Well, this is something that you don't really have to do all that often either, and anytime you see one of those very obvious looking ledges, you can toss Cheshire up there to find a new way forward. So we'll go ahead and do that. Very nice. And now it is his time to shine. There will be instances where Cheshire won't be able to return, and you have to find another way to unite the two whenever you have to. So we'll wait here. We can't go further on to the right, so we'll head and follow these Avalon drops. And there we go. Now, Cereza can make her way up, and we can toss him up on the ledge over there. And that is how we're gonna get past all of this here. So here we go. And the old Cheshire toss. And now we wait. Hopefully we don't fall off of any more precarious vines, you know? But yeah, flinging yourself is so much fun. It's just weird, and I don't think you can accidentally fling yourself into a pit or anything. So a lot of these, like this one, is one way though, so be wary of that. But now, it's time for shared combat. So while Cheshire is slicing and dicing, we can go and thorn bind the enemies, keep them in place, or just, you know, keep them off our back. Magic butterflies will recover the spell cooldown gauge so that we can cast our arts again, but you don't have to worry too much about that. Oof, excuse me. I did not say you could do that, sir. Be gone with thee, fairy scum. God.
Perfect! A chest? Did the fairies make this? I wonder what's inside.
In this case,
Cool!
a healing tonic. Umbran medicine in a bottle shaped like a petal. Use it to slightly restore Cereza's vitality, and the key note here is the fact that we can concoct more on our own. Which we probably won't do a whole lot of until the end of the game. Just saying that much. So over here, we're gonna go and fling ourselves this way, and we're gonna have to diverge paths again. So across the chasm you go. And in order to actually attack this, there we go. Let's go ahead and boom. Nice. Over here we also have some flowers that are gonna try to hurt us, and it would probably be wise to not let them do that. So we'll wait there, and there you go. And you know what? Sure, why not? Oh no, how dare you! You just slapped Cheshire out of that bind like it was nothing. There you go. But again, you don't have to worry about health for Cheshire, it's just Cereza. So we'll go and launch you up, and I will meet you on the other side of this rosemary. How does that sound? Also, this sequence right here is pretty great. It is very reminiscent of a Saturday morning cartoon, but not something you do a lot of over the course of the game, so I guess prepare to be disappointed or relieved.
Hey! Give me a break!
Yeah, just a little bit of levity here, but go ahead and use Cheshire to grab as many of these drops as you possibly can, because there are a bunch here, and collecting them early on probably going to be for the best. But you don't have to worry about moving Cereza because she is doing it all for us. And there we have it. Incredible.
That was not fun.
Oh, speak for yourself, madam. Now, as we progress forward, ladies and gentlemen, our first instance of a sanctuary.
What have we here?
There were signs that a witch had set up camp here.
Perhaps I'm not the first witch to enter this forest. Oh well, it means we've got a place to rest. Look what we have here!
Well, we have our three main ingredients that we can use to concoct our various syrups and potions, starting with the baked gecko, which is equally cute and tragic. Plus, we've also got a unicorn horn. Apparently, it's the unicorn from hell because it is, you know, red. But our final one actually reminds me a bit more of a snowman, and it's a mandragora root. So, best to pack it deep in your rucksack. Excellent. So we get a nice little flourishing sound of our first sanctuary. You definitely want to unlock as many of these as you possibly can. There are only so many, but I think this is probably where we're going to end things off for this time. We can take a look at this resting spot because we will also be introduced to the novel concept of concocting. And it's pretty easy, but it's going to force you to do this. And the only thing we can make right now is a healing tonic, and they gave us just enough materials to do that. So let's go ahead and make the one item. And well, there's a couple others that are a lot more useful, but this one is definitely good for the end. Let's begin concocting, and all you have to do is rotate. Rotate, my friends. So once everything is added, there you go. And there we have it. Easy as that. Perfect. I don't know if you can fail that. I honestly have never tried, but again, this game will be incredibly generous as far as giving you these out in the wild, so you really don't have to worry about it. But to use them, you usually have to be in battle and you use the D-pad, so pretty easy. And we're all set with what I wanted to do here, so join me here in Bayonetta Origins next time as we take on the Jade Hill and possibly see a lot more of what this game has to offer. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a great idea. My name is Ellison Cruz. Take care, and I hope to see you guys then.